just so excited for the July 18th seminar. I do a number of seminars every year, but those are mainly for like private groups, people who pay me to come and speak to them, or I do some work with nonprofits as well where I just go to donate my time. So it's pretty fun for me when I do a public seminar where people actually, it's not a private event, it's not a nonprofit, but anyone can come. And so this is a special treat for me because I don't do it that often. I think the last public seminar I did was over maybe a year and a half ago. So I'm very busy with, working with my one-on-one clients and doing groups and private work. And so it's really a treat for me to really share and get to interact with people on a larger scale in the public. So this is really exciting for me, and it's something that I take really seriously and I'm excited about. And so what I'm doing today is I want to talk to you a little bit about some of the stuff, some of the great content that I'll be sharing with you on July 18th. I promise I'll do some little sneak peeks, and I shared with you a video a couple days ago, and so here we have another one. And this one that I want to talk to you about today is all about finding and applying to jobs that align with your long-term goals and that meet your salary goals. Now that's a lot to put in there, but this is what we'll be talking about at the seminar. And the seminar is about a half day, but in this little snippet here I hope to give you a little something that's going to help to get you on the right path. So I talked about paths. Now before you determine how you're going to get somewhere, you have to know where you are. If you're trying to get somewhere, you look at the map to say, okay, where am I now? And you know how when you go to the malls, they'll have that little X to let you know where you are now. That matters. That really matters. You may know where you want to go, but if you don't know where you are now, it's very hard to get there. So knowing where you are matters. Now there's a few different categories of people in terms of where they are in their job search. You can be someone who they are perpetually looking for another job. That job they're looking for, they could be looking for it for a couple weeks, a couple months, a couple years, unfortunately, and in this economy. All the more reason why you need to have a very strong application package, you need to know how to network, and all of that great stuff. So that's one category of people, the people who are looking for a job. They're currently unemployed and they're looking, sometimes for a very long time. And then you have those people who, they have a job right now. They have a job that's paying them, maybe it pays them well, maybe it doesn't, but they're looking for a better job. The job that they have now is the only job they could get, but they're always having their eyes out for that prize, that job that they really want to get. Maybe they applied to the job they really wanted, but they didn't get selected, so they're in their kind of last resort kind of job. The job that they're happy to have, but they're not excited to have. So that's another category of people. This third category of people are the unemployed, the people who they have a job, but their job is severely under what they're really qualified for. This is where you have the PhD person who is driving a taxi, or you have a recent grad who has a degree in engineering, but they're working at Domino's. And I like Domino's, so I'm not downing Domino's. That kind of situation. A fourth category are those people who have just given up on the job search. They are so beat down by the process. And the process, I don't have to tell you, for those of you who are experiencing it, but the job process, searching for a job, it's very emotionally draining. It can be physically draining, and it can just beat down on your ego many times. But stay positive, stay optimistic, and stay strong, okay? But again, there are the group of folks who have just given up. They're like, you know what? I've been trying for a long time, it's not working. I'm just letting it go. If a job comes to me, great, but I'm just not looking right now because I'm tired of looking. Or I think it's just impossible for me to get a job that's worth, my salt. Another thing to keep in mind when we look at these categories of where people are right now is another thing. Keep in mind the people who have been fired versus the people who have been laid off. That's kind of a subset here. So you have some people who they were just fired. Maybe they didn't perform well. Maybe they got locked up in politics of their job and got kind of booted out, or maybe they were forced to leave and so they were fired, but they kind of left on their own accord per se. And then you have the people who were just laid off. Maybe they were great workers, but their organization just didn't need their services anymore. That can be very tough for some people to handle. So let's say if you're in a situation where you were laid off, be aware of the language that you're using. So if you're applying to another job, or if you're networking with someone and they say, what happened? Why aren't you at your previous job? Use the terminology laid off. Don't say you were fired if you were not really fired, okay? Being laid off means something very different. Another thing about being laid off is if let's say you're working in a certain industry and you were laid off because the demand for that industry decreased, why do you want to try to find another job in that same industry? Chances are you may get laid off again sooner than you think. Some of you may have been laid off multiple times. Maybe it's time to change industries. Maybe it's time to do a complete 360 and do something different. Think about the situation you're in, and maybe a blessing in disguise. Did you even like the job you had anyway? So why are you crying about losing it? This can be a great opportunity for you. So if you got laid off, if you were fired, whatever the case may be, you're underemployed and you're trying to find a better job you like, or you like the job you have but you don't love it, or you're just completely unemployed and you're looking like crazy to try to find a job, did you even like the job you had in the first place? Your mindset matters. Your mindset matters, okay? So, take this opportunity to find a job that you really love. Find a job that matches a salary that you really could have. The salary you have now was determined on a few factors. How your resume showed you to be, because people's resumes oftentimes help to dictate what kind of salary they get. If your resume was kind of, not the best, your salary may reflect that. Also, the company itself, maybe they have certain constraints in terms of how much salary they could have offered you anyway. So you should always be looking for that better job, a job that better matches your passion and your salary desires and what you could really command. Do you even know how much salary you can command with your experience and your background? Do a check online. See what other people who have X amount of years of experience like you do with your X amount of degree or whatever it is, how much salary could you really get if you really tried? Why are you not trying? Don't give up. So always be in that place of not giving up on yourself. Find out, what your situation is, where you are, and that will help you craft the path to get there. But again, don't give up on yourself. Know what to ask for in terms of your salary. Don't give up on the kind of jobs you really want. Look at what your transferable skills are and find the job and the career that you really enjoy. Because even if you don't have a lot of experience in that thing, this may be the best time to try to go to that other industry. Maybe an industry where you won't get laid off of. So, your interview and your cover letter are great opportunities to showcase your passion and why you want to do something. So take advantage of those two things when you're looking and applying for jobs that better align with your passion so that they can match your salary goals. On your resume, if you showcase using the CCAR method, the context, challenge, the action you took, the results that you achieved in your bullets, if you have a resume that really qualifies and quantifies all the wonderful stuff you did, people will look at your resume and be like, whoa, they did some pretty outstanding things. They should command a certain kind of salary, okay, to go with that. But if your resume doesn't showcase you and all the great things you've done, it's going to be harder for you to find a job that you like. It's going to be harder for you to be more competitive, and you're not going to be that impressive enough to command a certain kind of salary, okay? So keep those things in mind. All right, that's all I have to share with you today. Keep an eye out on these videos because I have some more coming for you in terms of little tidbits of things that we're going to be sharing on the July 18th seminar. I'm so excited to see you there. Take care and talk to you soon.